Can't believe it. Am I really back on YouTube, bro? Nah, can't be, man. It must be a fraud or something, you know? I mean, I've been missing for so long. And when do I come back? I come back when it's all no longer shits and giggles. When things are going wrong. I'm back for shits and giggles. I'm back for my first show this season. Thank you for everyone who's stuck with this channel. I'm back again. I can't wait to kick into this preview, but I couldn't do it on my own. There's no way I could do this show on my own. Impossible. I couldn't do it on my own because I've got one of the musketeers in the building. I got Akpos in the building. If anyone was going to join me today, it was Akpos and Walsh, gonna hopefully later on. But Akpos, my guy, what do you know, man? How you doing?
Well, I'm doing great, brother. It's good to have you back on the streams, and it's good to be back on the channel to talk about one thing that brings all of us together, the beautiful game of football, and also talking about our darling Arsenal. So I'm excited about this one, also with all the significance that I think these features hold right now because of the battle with Man City last season and the fact that we've not been able to get the best out of them, the best of them since 2015, if I'm correct. The 2015 game at the Emirates, the 2-1 victory, if I'm very correct. So I think that's a long time. So I think every time we play City now in the more recent times, it's always been a big discussion if we will be able to get this elephant out of the room. So I'm excited about how this one is going to pan out.
Man, I'm with you here. This drought that we've had with Manchester City, it's getting a bit, how you going? I mean, I'm getting a little bit thirsty as an Arsenal fan, as an everyday person. I mean, come on. The duck of Manchester City, we got to break this. It's getting a bit much. It's getting a bit long in the tooth. It's getting a bit silly. And I mean, if we want to be taken seriously, look at us. Now's the time to do it. Apparently weakened, you know what I mean? As well as City. If we could take the game to City and get ourselves 3 points, I'm going to be a very happy camper. Seriously, look, pick up everyone in the chat. Luca, AFC is saying, I'm back. I know he's saying I'm back, but he means I'm back. And I'm back. And you're back. Akpos is back. And you know what? I'm very happy to see you. Manny in the building. Good to see you back, Steve. Oh, missed you, brother. Missed you. Missed Akpos. Missed my little YouTube community. And you all know who I'm talking about. Missed everyone in the chat. I know I've been missing, but work has been a mongrel, but I'm back. I'm back. I've worked it out. It's all balanced, my guys. It's all balanced. BX Gunner. YOLO, what's good, everyone? What's good, bro? What's good is Arsenal's here. I'm here. Akpos is here. And it's been this, that, and all of the above. You know what I mean? Lenny Moon, been a minute, brother. Hope you are both well. Akpos, how you doing, bro? You doing all right?
I'm good, Lenny. Thanks for checking up on us.
Lenny, thank you very much. I hope you're good because I'm doing all right. I swear I'm doing good. Thomas Sin, big up Aussie. Yes, thank you very much. Please smash the likes. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please think about it. Give it a whirl. It won't hurt. Because I am going to be a bit more active. Me and Akpos are going to fucking take it off right now. So this preview right now, we know Manchester City are coming in a little bit weaker. We know Manchester City have stumbled a little bit, Akpos. So I know it's kind of good news for Arsenal. But after the performance in the Champions League, it has sort of taken us off our stride. And I do believe that this season, Arsenal Football Club, we haven't really hit the strides, and correct me if I'm wrong, we haven't hit the strides of last season. We seem to be stumbling through 3 points at a time. I don't know if you've come across the same sort of thing with Arsenal. We haven't had that free-flowing football. I don't know. What do you think? Do you believe that Arsenal have been really hitting their strides this season, or are we still sort of working out the little intricacies that is Kai Havertz and the new midfield?
Well, I totally agree with you on that one, Steve, because I think we are not playing our best football yet. But like you rightly said, City also are not playing their best football. And I think the game against Lens is actually a wake-up call for us all. For those people who think like all is perfectly well, it's trying to tell us that game is a reminder that things could turn bad real quick with the way we are approaching some games, because I think we should be killing games off. There are instances this season where I felt like we, start the games very well, and after scoring a goal or two, we take our legs off the gas. So I think we need to stop doing that. We need to, when we score one, get the kill, get the second goal, and get the third one if need be. And I think we saw that also with the game against Fulham, where we dropped off
Yeah.
points. Where that was a game where we were practically in a driving seat, we're controlling the game, and somehow we also felt very comfortable after getting the lead and took our legs off the gas, and the opposition got the equalizer. I think that also happened against Lens. Also, we started the game on the front foot, got the first goal, and from then onwards, everything went wrong for us. Practically everything went wrong. I think we stopped challenging, we stopped getting into those 50-50 tackles and winning the needed challenges. So for me, I think we need to go into this one knowing all the things that are at stake in this encounter, all the things that are at stake, and what we need not to do wrong. I think we need to stop making silly mistakes, giving oppositions goals like we did against Lens, and some mistakes that also like we did against Tottenham Hotspur too, with the Jorginho mistake also. I think we need to stop giving away goals. We need to, taking and holding these games on the scrap of the neck and knowing that yes, we need to get the 3 points. Like you said, we have scrapped some games like we did against Everton, which has always been a difficult ground for us to go to in the last couple of years. But we went to Everton, we got the win. I think this is also a very big test for us with the fact that we've not won against this City's the City team in the more recent years. Since 2015, we've not been able to get the best of them. So I think we need to actually go into this game and approach it head on and try to break this jinx, because I think this is the jinx that's been there too long. And if you really want to win the league, it's a game like against the Manchester City's the champions, which I think is the best team in the world currently. You need to play against them and not lose. For me, I'll take a draw, but I'm not very confident of us getting the win because of what we've shown so far this season. We have not been playing at our best, and some of the big up to the manager. I want to talk a little bit about the manager now. Big up to the manager and the amazing work he has been doing for this football club so far. I think there are some calls that he has made that I would question. I think he still needs to get some things right. He's doing a fantastic job. He has brought us here so far. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm not trying to attack the manager and all of that, but I still have some question marks with some of his decisions that he has made so far this season. So I will let you come in here, Steve, and you could bring me back on.
Well, honestly, I couldn't agree with you more when it comes to the points in regards to, yes, we have been a bit lackluster. We have been a team that for some reason scores a goal, gets off on the front foot, but we have been in our shell. Now, this season, it feels like Arsenal are within their shell. They haven't really been able to express themselves, whether it be, I don't know, the change of the bodies in the midfield. Is it the early injury to Thomas Partey? Now we've got Martinelli out. It just seems like we're sitting back, or we just can't find that extra bit of pace to get us going like we used to. Now, I look at Arsenal Football Club presently, and there's already a comment here from Luke, and there was a comment there from Thomasin as well, and I'm going to jump in on this. The change of, let's say, personnel in the midfield has been something of an up and a down. Now, with the addition of Declan Rice, as you can see in this thumbnail, and with another addition of Kai Havertz, who I was one of the guys who kind of said, I'm not really happy about this move. It just seems that our midfield battles have not really taken place. It hasn't been much of a battle, but we've been getting run over. Now, in the game that we've got now against Manchester City, I think the midfield battle is going to be key. Reason being is I'm thinking everybody knows that Kevin De Bruyne will not be there. Rodri will not be there. If we want to win against Manchester City, I think that the battle of the midfield will be key for our success. Missing Bukayo Saka is not going to be a wonderful thing. Now, Mikel Arteta has come out and said that he's going to be waiting to see how he fends and how he turns out. Last minute FC, he wants to play his star boy. But in my mind, I see no Bukayo Saka, no Gabriel Martinelli, and a possible return for Thomas Partey. Now, I would love to see, in my opinion, a midfield pairing, even if it's in a double pivot, with Declan Rice a little bit further forward, of Thomas Partey and Declan Rice and Martin Odegaard. Now, if that doesn't spell a brick wall of a midfield, I don't know what will. Now, I don't know if you agree with me, and guys in the comments, let me know what you think. Thomas Partey was good enough to be on the bench in the Champions League. In my opinion, that means he must be ready to play. Should we see Thomas Partey start with Declan Rice in this game as his first game in the Premier League, with Kai Havertz possibly sitting on the bench or playing the number 9? What would you say? Would you?
Well, I think we just need to look a little bit backwards to the playbook from the Community Shield game, where we had this same midfield three that you just prescribed now. And I think we did not lose the midfield battle against City in that game. I think it was pound for pound in that game. And I think Mikel Arteta don't need to overthink this one. Play our best midfield three, which I totally agree with your selection there. Thomas Partey, Declan Rice, and Martin Odegaard. And we will be able to contend that attacking prowess that City has got. And for me, I don't want to see Kai Havertz starting that game because I don't want to go be a little bit too harsh on the player. But for me personally, that has been one transfer that I have my question marks over. But I'm still trusting the manager. I will still back the player to succeed because he's still an Arsenal player. And my first priority as a supporter is to support the team and support the players. So for me, I don't think Kai Havertz has done enough to start that game. I think our best midfield three should start, which in my humble opinion agrees with your selection there. Thomas Partey, Declan Rice, and Martin Odegaard. And if he gets into the starting 11, I would prefer to see him playing in that first 9 role. Just maybe he could give us something different and, help us beat that City press, because we know that with City and with the way we play also, there's always going to be that high press from City. So just maybe we'll potentially see him starting in the first 9 row or as the number 9 to help us beat the press where we want to play the long balls to beat their initial press. So let's see what's going to happen. But for me, if we are not playing with that midfield three, I would not be really confident. But the manager can also still prove us wrong.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I mean, if the manager decides to go with that midfield three, it does make us look a lot stronger. The other possible midfield pairing is a guy that seems to be kind of hanging out in the corner, a player by the name of Emil Smith-Rowe. I see Emil Smith-Rowe as a player who's sort of on the fringe now for some reason. A star once upon a time, now sort of not shining. A player that can play on the left, a player that can play in the middle of the park, naturally cuts in the middle of the park. Now, I know he's a lot more attack-minded, but if you think about it, this is a kind of player that can go forward and he's got plenty of energy to come back. I again look at Kai Havertz and completely agree with you, Akpos. And I'm pretty sure everybody in the chat, I mean, BX Gunner's got one here. The midfield is the obvious elephant in the room, as well as our lack of finishing. And I'm going to get into that one right now. That's a good point. If our midfield is to consist of Thomas Partey or Emil Smith-Rowe, I will be very happy with that. The problem with our finishing, now that is another sort of elephant in the room. We seem to be creating numerous opportunities, but we lack the clinical nature to be able to make our opponents pay. And I just look at it and it just feels as if some of these players, they're either not hungry or not worried about being dropped out of their position. Hear me on this one, Akpos. It feels as if Mikel Arteta has his starting 11, right? And that he's not shipping up any which way of changing this starting 11. We saw it against Lens. One change that we made was Tomiyasu. That was it. The rest of the players were full strength starting 11. I saw the introduction of Emil Smith-Rowe with some energy. I saw Reece Nelson come in with a bit of energy. It just seemed like they were more interested in trying to maybe salvage something from the game than our starting 11. Is this game one of those games where maybe some of our starting players need to be woken up? Is this a game where Reece Nelson starts on the right wing? I mean, I know it's Manchester City, but if Bukayo Saka is injured, do we have a front three of Eddie Nketiah, Trossard possibly, and Jesus? Or do we have Nketiah on the wing? How does our front three shape up? Because I don't think Saka is going to be ready for this game. And I don't want to risk Saka in this game. I really don't. If he's a 50-50, I don't want him to start. I really don't.
Firstly, I want to say I want to talk a little bit with Mikel's style and what he does in terms of squad rotation. I think last season when we were in the Europa League, we saw that I think it keeps about five to six players from the starting 11 from my findings before the show. It keeps 5 to 6 starting players from the starting 11 from the Premier League and the Europa League game. And in the game against PSV, I think there were 3 changes or so. So that game against PSV, where we won. And in the game against Lens, it was 2 changes. I think Mikel Arteta, kudos to Mikel Arteta for the magnificent work he has done so far and how where he has taken the club to from where he met the club, from when he joined in as the manager. I think he has done a tremendous job and he deserves us flowers. But I still think he needs to get his rotation right. He needs to pick the game when to rotate and when not to rotate. Personally, because you know what I think about this one, Steve, because you saw my conversation obviously with Kanebi before the Lens game, and I was screaming at the top of my voice that I think Mikel Arteta should let Bukayo Saka sit that one out, at least not start the game, even if he gets a couple of minutes in that game, because I was looking at the game and I was also keeping an eye on the City game on the weekend. I felt like, okay, keep this guy, let him not start this game, play Reece Nelson, because I was expecting him to, play the cover for Bukayo Saka, because that right wing is one part of the pitch where I look at right now. And if Saka is not playing, the player that comes in, I think the quality drops by miles compared to what we have in the other areas. Because when Bukayo Saka was taken off that wing, I was expecting Mikel Arteta to bring in Reece Nelson, maybe like for like substitution, but he chose to bring in Fabio Vieira, and that substitution obviously did not work out well for us in that encounter against Lens. So for me, Mikel Arteta needs to pick this game. I know he has done marvelous with what he's doing, and to me, I still think there are still some things he's still learning on the job so far, because some of these things, no matter which profession you find yourself in, is going to come by how many times you find yourself in those situations. You're going to come by experience comes by how many times you've done it. So I think he's still gaining experience in terms of rotation. And I'm looking at the squad now. We have a squad that's a little bit bigger than we had last season, or I think we have more quality compared to what we had last season. And maybe he's still getting used to that changes and all. So, but I think he needs to do it real quick before things start going bad for us. And he needs to, especially for Bukayo Saka, because of the number of games that he has played. I'm very, very keen on how we would handle and manage his career. Because for me, elite players want to play all the games, but it's your job as the manager, to come into the room and tell them sometimes, okay, look, you are not going to play this one. I'm going to rest you. The other players I want to play in this feature. I think Mikel Arteta needs to start doing that a little bit more with Bukayo Saka, because what a lot of us are looking at, we are looking at the fact that referees are not giving him enough protection. But our manager also needs to start giving him more protection, in my opinion. He needs to start taking him off some of those games when the games are done. Like when we were winning against, was it Bournemouth 3-0, we're 3-0 up, and I thought he left Bukayo Saka a couple of minutes longer in that game before he picked up that knock and was substituted in that feature. So for me, Mikel Arteta needs to start protecting his key players a little bit more. And looking at the game against City, I think this is the game where we would love all of our best players to be available. I was just reading an update now from Mikel on the Arsenal app, and they were saying Saka is still in contention for that game, but they were not sure yet. But like you said, if it's not going to be 50, if he's not going to be over 80% fit, I don't think we should risk him in this one. I think we should look at the bigger picture also, and maybe give Reece Nelson an opportunity to come and show what he could do in a potential big game like this. But I personally would not be very confident if Saka is going to sit this one out.
Honestly, I think Saka shouldn't be anywhere near the pitch. Mainly because after that knock, just like Luke is saying here, he'd genuinely be pissed off if he's seen Saka in the lineup. He could end up getting a serious long-term career-defining injury if we keep risking him when he's injured. Now, this is a fact. I look at Virgil van Dijk as an example. He got overplayed, and now he is a shadow of his former self. And I don't want to risk not Saka's career progression, but I don't want to burn out Bukayo Saka in order to try to possibly salvage something from this game. If we were thinking about Bukayo Saka's health, it would have been thought about in Bournemouth, and it would have been thought about against Lens. I would rather see, in this game, I'd rather see Reece Nelson start. Now, I'm not saying Reece Nelson is the guy. I'm saying that's what we have. Manny in the building is saying ESR could very well be our secret weapon. And I agree with you there, Manny. That's why I mention him. Because you would have noticed that when he came onto that pinch against Lens, he was energetic. He was trying to take shots. He was making runs. Now, ESR can play on that left-hand side. He can play on that left wing. I know he's not the best left winger, but he can play on the left wing. He can also play in the middle of the park. Now, if we throw it in ESR, he actually had a decent season when he was playing out in the left wing before he got injured, and Martinelli took over for that position, if we all remember that. So ESR could come in on that left wing, pushing Jesus back into the middle of the park and maybe putting Trossard on the right. Possibly. That could be our front three. Now, I wouldn't mind that front three. I don't want to start Eddie Nketiah, but that might be the go. Unfortunately, just like many people, Manny hasn't got too much confidence in Reece Nelson. I understand exactly as Akpos was saying, the level drop from Bukayo Saka to Reece Nelson is massive. You know what I mean? But unfortunately, that's the squad we have. And I do believe that we need to be able to use some of these players and rotate. I believe that if we're going to have players on the bench, they should be good enough to beat teams like Lens. We shouldn't have to go ahead and use our starting 11 in every game. We fell on our sword last season because of that. Thomasin is in the building at Manny. Reece's quality. He has changed the game when he came on. ESR and Nelson need to play more. Havertz shouldn't be anywhere near this team. Never wanted him in the first place. And I can agree with you on some of those points. I don't think Havertz deserves his position. I think Akpos would agree there. I think the price tag is getting him into this lineup. I think the price tag and the fact that Mikel Arteta personally picked Kai Havertz as a number one target and wanted him. He was the only one who wanted him. He got him. And now, unfortunately, because he's paid so much for him, it feels as if he has to play Kai Havertz. Now, if we do, I think that's going to be the sword that we fall on, guys. What can I say? Luke in the building. I wanted Simeone when we sacked Wenger and Emery. Understood. You know what I mean? I wanted Allegri. But unfortunately, we are where we are.
We have Mikel now, and I think this is the time for us to back him, Luke. This is the time for us to back him. I don't think this is the time where we need to be looking at the other managers we wanted, because just like you, Steve, I was also keeping an eye on Allegri, coupled with the fact that I watch a lot of Italian football, and Juve is the Italian team that I follow, and I saw what Allegri was doing at that point in time with the Juventus team. So I also wanted Allegri with a couple of the fact he was more experienced, he had the profile to me that could potentially do a great job at the Arsenal. But Mikel has come over now, and I think he has earned his flowers so far with what he has done. I think we have been a lot more faster than I expected where this project should be since when he took over. So I think for now, he has earned every right for us to, continue to have some trust and have more faith in him. So like you rightly said, with the Kai Havertz thing, I personally did not understand that transfer one bit, but I'm still hoping and praying that my manager will work some magic, and this one would potentially be a good one for us. So let's see. It might just be Kai Havertz that wins on this game against City. Who knows?
I'd be happy to be wrong. Happy. Thomasin is saying bottle top four. Bottled the title. He hasn't done amazing and won one FA Cup since. We won nothing. Arteta ain't taking us forward. Bring in a top-class manager.
Steve, do you want to take this one, or would you let me go?
Now, me and Thomasin have had long discussions, and Thomasin knows we've had long discussions on how I am with the manager, and I broke it down in a nutshell. Now, instead of you hearing me, Thomasin, and my voice and my same opinion, Akpos, the floor is yours.
Big up Thomasin firstly for this detailed comment from you, but I want to disagree with you. with the fact that yes, we threw away the league title last season for us, but I think we should also look at the monster of an opponent we faced last season, because a lot of people are trying to keep closed eyes on that one. Manchester City are the best team in the world. Maybe the best team in the whole of all the planets. I don't think there is any team that could be in a league division against Manchester City and would beat them to the title. I don't know. Maybe even if you bring a Real Madrid or whichever team you bring in the same division as this Manchester City team, they are still going to get the best the best of that team. So I think we need to also look at that fact. Pep Guardiola is a monster of a manager. Is currently the best manager in the world, and I think to best him to this title is going to take a lot of work. And we also need to commend Mikel Arteta for what he's doing currently. I think he has taken us from a team where we were not expecting anything to a Arsenal team now where we have expectations. We know where the team was in the last couple of years when Mikel Arteta walked through the door. So I think we need to also, big him up for what he has done. He has come in and he has won an FA Cup in his first season. We played Manchester City in the last Community Shield. We won, I think, 2 Community Shield titles now, 1 FA Cup. I think we need to also give the manager some credit for what he has done. And he has taken us from a squad where we were selling players for peanuts to a squad where we have bulk of talent now, where you could see like we have good investment in this squad that if you want to potentially move any of the players in our starting 11 now will be commanding a good transfer fee. So we need to also look at all of this fact he has done. He changed the culture we had on the club when he met it and what we have now. We have players who are more disciplined. We have players who are more focused in, getting and playing their football and all of that. So I think we need to big up the manager also and not forget the opposition we are facing.
We have to be serious when we move forward. We can't be mucking around. And look, Thomasin, we completely look. Everyone has a right to their opinion. This is yours. It doesn't mean you're wrong. It just means it's your own. Akpos has his own too. I have mine. And there's another person who has his own opinion. And this is part of my 3 Musketeers. You know what I mean? This is my crew. You know what I mean? And look, I know he's a bit late, but it doesn't matter. My brother from another mother, just like my guy Akpos, introducing to everyone here. I got my guy, Kyle Walsh, Gunner, in the building.
The legend,
know, Kyle, how you been?
The legend is back. How you getting on, mainly as well?
Oh, man, missed you. Missed you both, man. Missed you both. Missed everyone in the chat. Missed you both.
Long time. But listen, we're back together. I was driving a bus there, Steve. I got held up, so I said I'd jump on now for a good 20-25 minutes, man.
Good, brother. All good, man. All good.
Keep it well, yeah.
Oath, bro. Doing the best we can with what we got, man.
Good stuff, Akpos. How's the family, brother?
Well, I'm doing great, Carl. Good to have you back on the stream, and I know you are also excited about this game.
I am not one bit excited about this game. Because
are you scared? Are you worried? Are you worried, my man?
It's going one way. 3 points to Man City. We are absolute rubbish. We're dirt. Time to wake up.
We've been poor this season. We have been poor, man. We have been poor.
Worse than what we were last season. And everything that was good about last season is forgotten about. We're playing different style of football. It's slow, passing, the same crap. You can predict what we're going to do. Players overhyped. Saka, he's tired. He's injured. I don't know. We're going. Listen, I want to say something now. I said it already. We are winning nothing once again this season. Nothing. Forget about it. Under this manager, under this ownership, lifting nothing. Trust me.
I'll be honest with you, Carl. I'll be honest. Sorry to cut you off. I'll be honest with you. This season is the season Arteta needs to bring something to the table. And I'm pretty sure that we all believe that. I'm pretty sure Mikel Arteta is a manager that knows right now that he needs to deliver this season. If he doesn't deliver this season, questions are going to be asked. They will be. But the fact of the matter at the moment is, and it's kind of weird though, with the kind of crappy football that we've been playing, and I'll be honest, it hasn't been the best. It hasn't been picturesque. Much like Manchester City's, right? How we are still in the top half of the table gets me wondering. Gets me wondering that if Arsenal were to click even maybe 20 or 30% of what they did last season, then what would be stopping us? Because we're not playing pretty football, Kyle. We're not, but we're getting the results. This is what's strange. We're unbeaten in the Premier League, and I know it's not great. It's not great wins. It's not decisive, massive wins. I mean, Bournemouth, whatever. But wouldn't you say right now, that we're sort of in first gear at best. It feels that way. It feels like we're in a shell, and it feels like we haven't really just, boom, come out. I believe, in my opinion, that the only way that this team is going to go forward is with a partnership of Thomas Partey, Declan Rice, and Martin Odegaard in the midfield, and the front three that we know best. And I think that's going to be the best move going forward, and even if it's in double pivot. Now, I don't know about you, Kyle, but do you think that the personnel in this squad, the players that we have at the moment, aren't good enough for this team? Is it a complete change in the starting 11?
Yeah.
What is it?
Steve,
You want a whole new 11?
There's two players, man, that shouldn't be nowhere near that team, that first 11. Havertz, we're carrying him. He's a passenger. And Eddie Nketiah, how many more years do we have to talk about this man? You're winning nothing. And I mean you're winning nothing with Eddie Nketiah and Havertz in your team. And that's facts. These two men are no good. 65 million for a waste of space. 100,000 a week for the next 4 years for another waste of space. And this is all on Arteta. It's a joke. It's embarrassing. And you're not going to win anything with players like that. Now, Saka, I don't know what the latest is. Is he injured? I think he's done a late test fitness before the game. If he's injured, no backup for him. We're relying on bringing on Reece Nelson. She must be bringing me on. These players are not good enough to win the Premier League. It's embarrassing. And if Arteta don't deliver the goods, Steve-O, Akpos, if there's no silverware on the table this season, out. No questions asked, no interviews, nothing like that. Out. P45, good luck. Out. This man should have went 3 years ago. And we're still here talking about it. The fan base are sickens me. They're all there. Arteta this, Arteta nothing. That man has done nothing for this club. Time to win. No win, out.
Akpos, you want this. You want to talk to Carl.
Yeah.
I want to talk to Manny. Manny's here and Carl's here. They're all for you, bro.
But firstly, I want to go with Manny first. I think I disagree. There was something Manny was saying upwards also where he was saying Mikel Arteta has changed the culture of the club. He has taken it from where he met it to a much worse situation, and I would really want to disagree with that one. But I hear you, Manny. I think the jury is still out there for Mikel Arteta if he's going to be that manager that takes us to the promised land. I totally agree with that point where you were trying to say. So far, he has done a good job, but if he's the one that is going to bring in the silverwares, so far I'm not very convinced right now, just like you are. But I would also want to give him by the end of the season because I've also had my own shows, my own moments where I also question the fact that if we would want to see him still at the ends of the affairs, if by the end of this season there is no significant trophy to show, because at the end of the day, we must admit that this football club has given him all the backing he needs to succeed as a manager. And also with the fact that he has made some very big calls at this football club. I think they have given him a lot of control. And like Carl rightly said, this is a time where we need to see results. We need to see winnings. We need to see him. We need to see results for all the faith that has been put in the manager, all the trust, all the money he has spent in the last couple of transfer windows. We need to see the results. And this result we are talking about, it needs to be where he finishes the league at the end of the day and the titles that we are going to be celebrating with by the end of the season. So I rightly agree with Carl there. If by the end of the season there are no titles, I think they need to reevaluate the key positions, not just Mikel's, but also Edu's and the other top guys. They need to, reevaluate our entire process to see the places where we could potentially make improvements and the places where we could potentially get better next season. So I agree with Carl. I also agree with Manny on that fact, but where I disagree with Manny is the fact that where he said Mikel Arteta has changed the club's culture from maybe bad to worse. I don't agree with that because I think under Mikel Arteta we have a more united fan base. We have a fan base that
Yeah.
is more vocal when we go to away grounds. When we went to, was it Bournemouth? You could see the way our fans were. This belief, this faith, this trust in the team has all come under Mikel Arteta, and we need to give him credit for that. I think our fan base was so much divided before Mikel Arteta took the aims of the affair. But Mikel Arteta has also shown us that yes, we could believe, yes, we could have faith, yes, we could potentially, go toe-to-toe with the likes of City and challenge for the title. All these has happened under Mikel Arteta's reign, so we need to give him credit for that. So in terms of that, I think Mikel Arteta has done good also. So Kai, you can come in, Kai.
I was, brother, I listened to you, and you talk a lot of sense and stuff like that, brother, but I'm going to have to disagree. And what I'm going to disagree on is this.
Yeah.
I wouldn't give Arteta no credit for anything. Why would I want to give a failure credit? Because let's face facts. The man is a failure. He has done nothing. You're talking about going face-to-face with Man City and all that. We were fucking 8 points clear of Man City with a few games to go, and we blew it last season. That's under this manager. Then he goes out, he's bringing in the likes of Havertz into the club. Still sticking with Eddie and Nketiah. Sure, it's embarrassing. We're still sitting here. We're still talking about crap players. We're still no silverware. Nothing. This business of finishing. I listen to a lot of fans. I'm at the find out with fellas and everything. We finished second. It's a great achievement. What's a great achievement? Okay. In 20 years from now, someone said to me, who finished second in 2023? Who cares? It's about number one. Manchester City went out, won the treble. We're going out, we're winning nothing. And we're going to win nothing again this season under this manager.
Well,
as far as I'm concerned, no credit, out the fucking door.
Well, Carl, I'm not sure we know what's going to happen by the end of the season, but I think we need to give Mikel credit. That's where I stand on this topic. I think Mikel Arteta deserves credit. Firstly, won a trophy in his first season as the Arsenal manager. We've seen some more experienced managers come to the Premier League and not being able to have anything to show for it in their first season. Mikel Arteta in his first season, he won a FA Cup. This is a manager who had relatively no experience in this role. And in the last couple of seasons, this season we are back in the Champions League after 7 years. That's taken us a long time. He has taken us back from a club that was not in the Champions League in a European elite competition back to where we rightly begin. We rightly deserve to be in the UEFA Champions League and is there. So I think for all of this, I understand your disappointment. I'm equally as disappointed as you are that we were not able to win the Premier League last season. But to say that this manager does not deserve any credit, that's where I disagree with you, Carl. I think it does deserve some credit for some of these things that he has done that maybe we are expecting so much more because we know where we are supposed to be. We know that this football club has been known for winning trophies, winning the big trophies, but it will definitely take us time. Let's look at some of the even more experienced managers. How long did it take Jurgen Klopp to win a major trophy with the Liverpool team? That's a manager who has been experienced. He has been in Germany before, where he has got some experience under his belt. But we are forgetting that we had a rookie of a manager in Mikel Arteta, somebody who needs to learn on top. And I think he has been learning so far and he has been improving. So I think he has done some things that we could say yes, that this guy deserves some credit. That's the way I look at it.
And I think the idea here is not we're going to praise Mikel Arteta and say, oh, he's wonderful, he's the next best thing, he's the next Arsene Wenger, he's the next Alex Ferguson. He's not even close. He's nowhere near there. The experience level, of course, not even close. Yes, okay, we've achieved Champions League. We've gotten in finally. When many of fans are sitting there going, oh, we're not even in the Champions League. Well, you're in it now, right? Now I understand that we haven't won the Premier League. I'm just as gutted as you, Kyle. Trust me. I'll just try and hold it together. But I can sit here and say, yep, it's time for the manager to go. Yes, I could say that too. But I know realistically that there's no way in the world that these owners will not give him this season. I know it. They will give him this season. They'll give him this season all the way to the end, just like a smart businessman would. And then they're going to sit down and say, well, what have you achieved? You haven't achieved enough. And then they'll, shake his hand and say, on your way. It's just as simple as that. I know these players aren't good enough. And I'm with you with the Kai Havertz move. The Kai Havertz move was stupid. I've been on Kai Havertz's back from the get-go. Him and Mason Mount are the most useless players in the Premier League. Overrated and useless. Unfortunately, we have one of them for £60 million. It's a bad move. It's fucking stupid. But I'm stuck in it now. And I know he's not the manager to take us forward. Managers aren't growing on trees. And I know Thomasina's got Simeone here and all this. We've got a whole FIFA list of managers. Ancelotti's and all that. Cool story. Cool story. But we don't know that they're going to be a guaranteed result manager when he comes to Arsenal. I don't know if he's going to be able to work with his hierarchy. I don't know that. The fans have to be ready that when Mikel Arteta leaves, the next manager that comes in is not going to win you guys a trophy in 1 year. And he might not win you a trophy in 2 seasons. Is everyone going to be patient? And I'm going to ask the question now before I jump off this topic. Will everyone be happy to see the back of Mikel Arteta only to bring another manager in who doesn't win nothing in 2 seasons? Because that's what will happen. I can guarantee that. You won't get it straight away. You won't. Even with this squad. Would you be happy with that, Kyle? Another manager come in, you wait for 2 more seasons and you don't see nothing for 2 seasons? And no guarantees that you win it in a third?
No, there's no guarantees. But my answer to your question will be, yeah, I would. Because as far as I'm concerned, this manager that we have now could stay with us for the next 10 years and he still won't win the Premier League title. So,
fair enough.
Give it to another fella. Not saying he's going to win it either. But Donald, just go show
this season, if he does nothing, I'm with you. If he does nothing this season, he's got to go.
He has to go.
If he doesn't do nothing this season. If he doesn't do nothing, and I guarantee you that Mikel Arteta will probably sign his own resignation.
Well, Steve, what's interesting you said that because I'm sure the 2 of you saw this and the chat saw it there before the season started. Arteta actually said that he looked at himself in the mirror and asked himself the question, am I the man for this job? So even before this season started, he was actually questioning himself. So I totally agree with you. I do think that if he does not achieve this season, I do think that he will step down himself. He probably does without getting sacked. He probably just do it himself. But listen, I wish the man, look, I don't hate the man or anything. I don't know him or anything like that. And I wish that he was winning Premier League titles and European Cup. Of course I do. I want my manager to be with us. Of course I do. But we have to be real. He ain't doing it. He just ain't doing it. And when it matters, we fall apart. That's down to the manager.
And I think this manager at the moment, right, for what we have, he's doing pretty well. I'm not going to say he's doing phenomenally. I think he's doing pretty well. I have seen positives with Arsenal. I do see an identity. I do see a never say die attitude. I do see a togetherness in the club. I do see a togetherness in the fan base. He has achieved a few things. This season is going to be the season that makes or breaks Mikel Arteta. And I reckon, for me, I'm going to leave it there, but for me, Mikel Arteta has got this season. What we have right now is Manchester City, around the corner. And Manchester City right now are a slightly weakened Manchester City. Arsenal right now are a team that's a bit shell-shocked with the result against Lens. I look at our lineup and I think to myself, we do have the personnel right now. I do believe with the players that we've got, I don't know about you, Kyle, but the players that we've got now, we could put together a decent starting 11 to face Manchester City. And that's the next thing I want to do. I want to put together a communal between the three of us, a starting 11 off the top of your heads. Fair enough?
See now, what we showed with the injuries that Man City have, man. And I'm going to say this now. We should be going out there Sunday, put out our 11 players, and beating Man City, and showing ambition, and showing the world that we're here to win the title. That we ain't taking any crap. No fucking excuses. We have a great chance and a great opportunity to beat Man City Sunday. If they don't, as far as I'm concerned, Throw the wasters out the door. Not fit enough to wear the Arsenal jersey. Simple. Man City are missing key players. This is our opportunity to show that we have a pair of balls. If we mess around and get paid 2-3-0, I don't know nothing about it anymore. Finish with it. Completely and utterly finished with it. That's what I feel about Sunday.
Look, Sunday's a make or break game. We got to win this.
Yeah.
Right? We got to win this game. We can't drop points. But Manchester City, don't forget, this is a team, a decent team that's just dropped points recently.
Yeah.
Just drop points. Just drop 3 points.
Yeah.
Right? So they can be beat.
Yeah.
We do have the personnel to beat them. We do have the players to beat them. We do have a manager with his head screwed on when he wants it to be screwed on that could take the game to Manchester City. For me, I look at our team right now and I think to myself, I'm not worried about Manchester City's squad. I'm really not. I believe we've got a decent squad. I think it's a strong squad. I really do. Now, to be perfectly honest, another question I had was the goalkeeper. We've got Raya, we've got Ramsdale. And I know Raya had a howler, an absolute howler in his last outing. Between the three of us, now, who do you want to see? Kyle, who do you want to see in goal? Who do you want to see in goal right now? If you had a choice between Ramsdale and Raya today, who do you want in goal?
Raya.
Raya?
Yeah.
What
about you, Akpos? What are you thinking, Raya or Ramsdale?
Tricky one, but I would go with Raya. Tricky one, but I'll go Raya.
I'd have to look. I'm gonna have to agree. I think Ramsdale is gonna be. He's gonna have that clutch save in him and the stupidity in him. I think Raya is gonna have to learn from his mistake. Our back four right now, I don't think anyone would complain with a Ben White, Saliba, and Gabriel back three. Now I want Zinchenko to start. I need Zinchenko to start on the left-hand side because I know what he brings. And I know a lot of people are going to sit here and say, he can't defend. That's cool. And I know everyone wants to blame him for the goal that Len scored, that second one. But there was a guy called Declan Rice that was in the background that should have been covering his man. But we can't talk about Declan Rice because Declan Rice cost £100 million. And he lost his man. So we can't talk about that. But we can talk about Zinchenko, who's given a green light to go forward. But I would like to see Zinchenko start, but I've been hearing guys, a couple of guys on Instagram were telling me that they wanted to see Tomiyasu start on the left-hand side.
I think that is also an option we could potentially look at if we want to keep that's the player who's going to be on the right for City in terms of the wings quiet, because I think with Tomiyasu, it brings us more solidity in terms of the defense. But we all know how integral Zinchenko is with how we play, our player from the back, and how he comes into the midfield, helps us dictate the play and all. So for me, I would also want to stick with playing Zinchenko because I think just maybe we could see what's going to happen the next 60 minutes and potentially bring on Tomiyasu if we need to defend the lead.
What do you reckon, Kyle? You want Zinni to start or Tommy to start on the left? Or are you going to say Kivior or some shit?
Tomiyasu on the left because Zinchenko not for this game. Tomiyasu is actually the last couple of games he's played very well. So he's a player with confidence. So I would play Tomiyasu.
Oh, Tomiyasu. I'm saying Zinchenko, but I can hear you on that Tomiyasu shout. In the middle of the park, I know Thomas Partey was on the bench. We all saw that. And I'm pretty sure we're all going to agree on this. Thomas Partey, Declan Rice, double pivot, middle of the park. Is that a fair shout? Is that a fair shout? Guys in the chat, are you guys in a double pivot with Thomas Partey and Declan Rice for a brick wall of a midfield? Do you agree, Akpos?
I think that is a non-negotiable for me if we really want to win this game. Because we saw what those three guys could bring for us on the plate when we played City in the Community Shield game, when we had these three players in the middle of the park for us. I think we were able to go, foot to foot with City in that midfield battle, and I think we did not come out losing the midfield battle in that game. So for me, I'm hoping that Mikel Arteta would go back to that playbook and borrow a page or two from that game.
Fair shout. What do you reckon? What do you reckon, Kyle?
I reckon he's going to play Havertz.
You reckon he'll play Havertz?
Yeah.
But Partey and Declan Rice in a double pivot would be a better choice.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what I pick. Steve, I was sorry, man. Work is calling here again.
No worries, buddy.
I'm going to have to take a score. Come on, I'll tell you before I go. 3 points. That's it. Anything less than 3 points, don't want no bonus.
Big up, Kyle. Catch you, mate.
Thanks, lads. I'll give you a text there, Steve. One little while, man. Big up to you.
Big up, mate. Big up. Guys, Kyle Walsh Gunner, if you haven't subscribed to his channel, please check his channel out, the legend Kyle Walsh Gunner. And look, he had a point. He said, he thinks that Kai Havertz will start in this game. I have a feeling that we will see Partey and Declan Rice in the middle of the park with Odegaard ahead. I have a bad feeling that Kai Havertz is going to be playing the number 9. Now, I know Akpos is not happy about that, and neither am I, but I've got a bad feeling that Kai Havertz will be pushed further forward to play the number 9.
What I want to say about that one, it's also with the fact that when we were talking about Mikel Arteta and if he has done enough for us so far, also we need to look at an angle where I think we also, giving some players, taking the blame away for some of the so-called senior players. I think some of the players Mikel Arteta has also put his trust in. I've let him down. I think this is the time where whoever is going to start, whoever is going to be in the starting 11, the manager is putting a trust in you. You need to repay that trust. And this brings me to the Kai Havertz discussion. For me, I totally does not trust the player, but I'm trusting the manager. And the manager is putting a faith in him. If he's going to start in that first 9 or that number 9 role, I'm begging him to please take his chances, because we saw him get into dangerous position in the Community Shield game against Manchester City. He had a couple of chances to put us up in that game, but he missed those chances. So I think if he's going to start, he needs to take his chance. Whoever starts, for me, whichever player the manager is going to put their trust in that game, they need to repay the faith of the manager and also repay the faith of the fans, because they are at a football club where they are going to pay lots of money. They need to, come in and get the job done. I think we need to stop missing all the chances, score the chances, put teams to the sword, bury games off, kill games off. We need to stop letting teams get back into the action. So for me, whosoever is going to start in that number 9 role, if it's Kai Havertz, if it's Edin Ketia, if it's Gabriel Jesus, you need to put the ball on the back of the net. Or else, when we get to January, we need to be having a different discussion entirely.
Yeah, no, definitely. No, 100%, buddy. 100%. Manny's come in and thrown me his lineup. Of course, Raya, Blanco Saliba, Magalesh. Tomiyasu agrees. He agrees 100%, 100% with our guy who's just here a few minutes ago, Kyle Walsh Gunner. We've got Rice and Partey middle of the park in a double pivot. Of course, a 4-2-3-1. Me and Manny agree on that one. Nelson, Odegaard, ESR, and Jesus. Now, that there is a lineup that I would not mind to see. Now, I know Trossard is a shout, but I think Trossard will be a good injection off the bench for a swap off with Nelson. Now, either wing that we've got at the moment, Akpos, either wing, we know we are missing Martinelli.
Yeah.
We know we are missing Bukayo Saka. Let's just be honest. I don't think Bukayo is going to be fit for this game. And if he is started, guys, it's going to be the biggest stuff up or the biggest risk that we could possibly take. Now, on either wings, we've got a possible start for Reece Nelson. We've still got Leandro Trossard. Now, I still rate Leandro Trossard. I know he didn't have a greatest game the last, but he has been a great player. He does offer a lot. But I think Leandro Trossard on the right-hand side, on the right wing, isn't as effective as he is on the left. And that's just my opinion. Now, if we did start Leandro Trossard, I believe that I'll have to start Leandro Trossard on the left with Jesus in the middle of the park. And then chuck in a Reece Nelson on the right, which means ESR would be on the bench. Or would you rather have ESR start on the left?
I think I would rather go with Leandro Trossard on the left. To me, I'm looking at this game, and I think we need goals. And Leandro Trossard is the player who's got a goal or an assist in him. For me, I think coupled with the fact that there is no Martinelli fit, Bukayo Saka is also a doubt. I think this is a game where Leandro Trossard needs to start for me. I think he needs to be one of the first names that gets into that team sheet for me, because if we are looking for a goal, Trossard is a player who can give us a goal. Trossard is a player who has got that brilliance to be able to create something out of nothing, to get an assist that could potentially give us a chance at the game, or maybe let us win the game. So for me, Trossard needs to start this one. I would rather Trossard plays on the right. I would know on the left. Sorry, I would not want to see Emil Smith Rowe on the right. I would rather him either he starts this game in the midfield position if he can, or he starts this game from the bench for me.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. I'd have to definitely agree with that. And then, of course, we have Eddie Nketiah, who Christopher Ward saying, what's the bet that Eddie starts up top? That's why he was rested for Champions League, in my opinion. It's a possibility. Now, the thing is, if Nketiah starts, we're going to have a headless chicken running around as a number 9. I don't think Nketiah is going to have any luck against Akanji. I think he's going to be nullified. I honestly believe our best bet is to start Jesus as our number 9, as predictable as he's going to be against City, because they're going to know his movements. But with a change with Reece Nelson on the right. Now, the reason why I keep pushing for Reece Nelson on the right is because I know he's a downgrade from Saka, but I can't have a Fabio Vieira there. I cannot have, in my opinion, a Leandro Trossard there. And playing Jesus as a right wing with Havertz or Nketiah in the middle of the park is just forget about it. Because in my opinion, both Kai Havertz and Eddie Nketiah do not have that clinical nature that you need to have as a number 9. I'm not saying Jesus is the best number 9 in his clinical, but in comparison to those two players who could play number 9, he is probably the better of those two evils. So in my opinion, it would have to be Jesus down the middle of the park with Reece Nelson on the right as part of my starting 11. And of course, ESR coming in off the bench, possibly depending how the game goes, possibly coming in for Partey. Possibly. And changing up that midfield, because I don't want to see Partey getting injured. That would be my starting 11. I don't know about you, Akpos. Would that be a fair shout?
I think that is a fair shot, because we don't know the situation with Bukayo Saka. For me, I would not want to risk him for one game and potentially lose him for, let's say, 4 or 5 games. If he's not fit, if he's not getting the go ahead from the medical people, I think maybe he should sit this one out, and we should put some more trust in the guys we have to get the job done. So for me, I would agree with your starting 11.
That's mate. Honestly, guys. In the comments, let us know, if you could, in the comments on this vid, give us your starting 11, right? I'm going to go through them. I'll give you my opinion. Akpos will do the same. Give us your starting 11 with the players that we have realistically, because I think we all know Saka and Martinelli are out the window, and Partey's probably good for 60 minutes. Who would you pick in your starting 11? Chuck it in the comments. Let us know, right? And hopefully Mikel Arteta can check out this vid and maybe pick a decent starting 11, because some of the shouts in the comments have been spot on. And if we can see it, if we can all see it in a collective, that the middle of the park needs to be a double pivot between Rice and Partey. Hopefully Mikel Arteta can see it, because that is the strongest midfield that we could possibly throw out there. Luke's come in and said, if we've got Eddie starting, Havertz in the midfield with Partey as an inverted right back, then sack Arteta there and then. And you know what? If he does do something as stupid as that, we're going to lose that game 4-1, if we're lucky to score 1. Chris says, I don't want him to start. I just think it's I don't want him to start. I just think that's what Conman will do. Okay, what do we got here? We got Taib. Hey, Steve, long time no see. No see. G'day, Taib. Thank you for joining us, man. Yeah, man, my first show with my guy Akpos, and Kyle Walsh-Gunner was in earlier to give us his opinions on Mikel Arteta, the Manchester City game, and what he expects throughout this season. Guys, I have dropped the links to my co-hosts' channels in the description. Please check out their channels and give them a like, give them a subscribe. Please, let's try and grow this community a little bit. I really appreciate everyone jumping in on this show. I know I haven't done one in a while, so I appreciate you. I appreciate, you know, your patience in regards. But Akpos, please let them know where they can find you. Please, on Instagram, on whatever. Please shout it out.
Big up to everybody in the chat right now. You can always find me on the Osiguna channel because I would always be on the stream with him. And also, you can always find me on One Touch TV. You can always find me on my channel, also the Football Talk Shop. And you can also find me on Instagram, on Football and Pigeon, and also across all the different social media platforms too.
Awesome, Akpos. Thank you. And guys, look, you're going to find me where? Football Capital, right here. And I will be on Never a Foul every Wednesday to chit-chat about this and that. So Never a Foul, I've got a show 2 p.m. Wednesdays. I am going to be part of that panel, and I'll be consistently part of that panel. So you see me there. And if my guy Akpos can just throw me on his channel from time to time, he knows I'll want to jump on that channel. But he's mucking around. He's dangling the keys. He's going, yes, no. So hopefully we can get Akpos to start some stuff up. Seriously. Everyone in the comments, I really appreciate you guys joining me today. I've honestly missed YouTube, and I've been fired up to do this show. And I will be back with a review to this game. Hopefully, I'm going to be happy. But just before we go, I'm going to give you my score prediction. Akpos is going to give you his score prediction. And I'm going to go for, I know it's going to be horrible, but I'm going to back my team. I'm going to go for a 2-1 to Arsenal. I know it sounds like no way it's ever going to happen, but I've got a feeling that maybe we're going to come out with a win. Akpos, what do you see here? Do you see a win, a draw, or a loss?
Well, Steve, I'm not going into this one confident, and just maybe the team would, you know, for a change, give me something to share about against Manchester City after a long time. So I would want to go with a safe landing, a 1-1 draw.
Oh, he's being safe. He's making sure that nothing can come back to him. Look, I'm gonna put it out there. I want to see a win. I'm gonna back the team, and I'm hoping that the team's gonna back me, you know, and not into a corner. You know what I mean? But guys, look, thank you for joining us. I'm gonna end this stream right here. Yeah, and if you guys have watched this back afterwards, on, you know, after this show's gone live, muchly appreciated. Please smash the likes. Please think about hitting the subscribe. And look, from the Aussie Gooner to everyone that's out there, Uru, guys. Uru.